this Morris, and I say keep on listening to Joy 99.7 FM.
Joy 99.7 FM.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. What is love?
Hello, my name is Benedict Ozu and welcome to the EPL Club on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM. Is the Joy Sports Arena here in Accra, and in Kumasi is live on Love 99.5 FM and a number of our affiliates nationwide. The show is also live around the world on the internet at myjoyonline.com. Coming up in the program.
Coming to the penalty area, Hazard fires it in low, and Hazard rifles the ball past Begovic to seal the 3 points for Chelsea. 4 wins out of a 4. It's a fantastic start for Maurizio Sarri.
Indeed, a fantastic start for Chelsea as they run out 2-0 winners at home to Bournemouth, and that result ensure they remain level on points with Liverpool, who also defeated Leicester City 2-1.
Alisson, and he's lost it to Iheanacho. Iheanacho, they must score surely. They have. Rashid Ghezal scores for Leicester. What a horrible moment for Alisson. What a way to concede your first goal of the season. And he took a risk, and Leicester are back in the game.
Liverpool won that game by 2-1, so 4 games, 4 wins for Liverpool, and Chelsea and the champions returned to winning ways after beating a defensive Newcastle United 2-1 at the Etihad Stadium.
Kyle Walker, oh what a hit! Kyle Walker, what a hit! What a way to get your first goal for the club. But Manchester City ahead again. It's his first goal since November 2015 when he scored for Spurs against West Ham.
So 2-1 Manchester City won that game yesterday. In our commentary match, courtesy our partners, the BBC, Tottenham Hotspur are drawing with Watford, while at Turf Moor, Burnley are losing 2-0 to Manchester United.
Burnley 0, Manchester United 1. It's Romelu Lukaku with the goal in the 27th minute, across from the left-hand side from Alexis Sanchez, pinpoint from just outside the box onto the head of the big 6'2" Lukaku, who's headed simply past Joe Hart to give United the lead.
So Manchester United are leading Burnley by 2-0. Lukaku with both goals in the first half. Will bring you second half commentary of the other game playing at the same time. That's the Tottenham Hotspur Watford game, which at the end of first half ended goalless. We'll be there to check what's happening in that game, and also we'll bring you updates from the game involving Manchester United and Burnley, courtesy our partners, the BBC. This is Joy 99.7 FM. The program is the Joy Sports Arena, the EPL Club. If you are in Kumasi, welcome. It's live on Love 99.5 FM. Wherever you are around the world is at myjoyonline.com, the internet. So just go there and listen to us. Be my guest from now until the day of 6 as we serve you the best of English Premier League analysis and interviews. So you can do so. You can also interact with us here on the show, and you can do so by getting in touch with us on our WhatsApp number, which is 0244 340-437, 0244-340-437. On Facebook is at Joy 99.7 FM, and we are live on Facebook, so you can get to our Facebook page. That's Joy 99.7 FM, and check it out on Facebook. Leave your comment there as well. What do you think about Manchester United? Their current state, currently they are leading in their game against Burnley by 2-0. Yesterday, Chelsea won their game. Liverpool also won their game. Manchester City won their game. And boy, what is happening to West Ham United? A very, very bad start for the team, as their manager Manuel Pellegrini described yesterday when he was asked, and will definitely will analyze their situation after spending so much money and bringing players in. Still, results are not coming in. They've played 4 games, no points, so pointless. West Ham United languishing bottom of the English Premier League table after 4 games. We'll be there to check that as well, and we'll hear from their manager Manuel Pellegrini. We'll hear from Jose Mourinho himself, and also Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp has said something about Jose Mourinho. We'll get to hear that and also analyze it later here in the program. Now, we'll also check the other major leagues. Cristiano Ronaldo is still without a goal after 3 games for Juventus, but Karim Benzema and Gareth Bale continue their goal-scoring form since Cristiano Ronaldo's exit as Real Madrid defeated Leganes in La Liga. Barca to play later tonight. We'll check the Italian Serie A as well as the Spanish La Liga, and then the German Bundesliga as well as the French League. Yesterday, Paris Saint-Germain were in action and they won their game. Neymar played a part in that game. We'll do analysis on that as well. Here on the local scene, the match involving Kumasi as Santi Kotoko and Accra had to folk the Super 2 second leg is currently ongoing at the Babara Stadium. Remember, the first leg was a Santi Kotoko that won that game by 2-0. The second leg, as I speak to you now, is goalless in Kumasi. We'll get updates from there as we go and update you here on the show. This is Joy 99.7 FM, the Joy Sports Arena, with me, Benedict Owusu, is the EPL club. One of my members is in the studio. Raymond Nyamado, the Piper is here. Hi, Piper, how are you?
I'm very well, Benedict.
Awesome. Yeah, Nyamado, I know. It's been a while, man.
It's been a while.
And thanks so much for joining me. So your team, Manchester United, currently in action with Burnley. We'll pick second half commentary of the Tottenham Hotspur game, and then we'll get updates from that ground as well. But to talk about the team news for Manchester United, here is in post. Valencia is playing, as well as Luke Shaw, who has been a regular member of the team this season, playing very well at left back, and by virtue of his performance, is actually in a call up to the English national team. And Lindelof, Smalling, Matic, as well as Fellaini and Sanchez, Pogba, Lingard, Lukaku are starting for United, and it's been a bright, wonderful first half for the side. On the side of Burnley, we have Joe Hart in post for Burnley, Taylor, Tarkowski, me, Basley, Lennon, Cork, McNeil, Westwood, Wood, and Hendrick. Those are the players doing battle for Burnley this afternoon in the game, and Tottenham Hotspur. So we'll update you on that. But let's look at the Tottenham Hotspur starting team before we join our partners, the BBC, for second half commentary. Vaughan is in for Watford is Vaughan, who is playing. For Tottenham, rather, is Vorm in post, and Trippier, Toby, as well as Ventogan are playing in central defense, and then Sanchez, Davis, Osman Dembele, and Musa Dembele, and Lucas Moura, as well as Dele Alli, Eriksson, and then Harry Kane in attack for Tottenham Hotspur. And for Watford, we've got Foster, Janmat, Katkat, and Kabaseli, as well as Holibas, Hughes, and Dakori, Pereira, Dini, and Gray. So these are the players for Watford. Raymond, briefly before we join our partners, the BBC, Manchester United at halftime leading by 2-0. Very good result for the side, and also for Jose Mourinho.
Well, definitely Jose Mourinho and his men needed to respond after that, horror show against Tottenham Hotspur. They needed to actually get back there and try to play some football. And crucially, they've gotten the 2 goals that are very important in football matches. In the game against Tottenham, I think that if they are taking their chances earlier, maybe we would have seen a different scoreline. But this time, they are trying to get the job done as early as possible. In the first half, 2 quick goals from Lukaku. They haven't been really convincing. They haven't boxed the game. They haven't, played some swashbuckling football. Typical Manchester United, very lethargic style of football, pragmatic football. But, they'll tell you they've done what matters most in football, to score goals. So I think that, Manchester United will still go ahead and win this game because Burnley themselves are not in the right state. I think that playing that midweek game against Olympiacos has taken a toll on this team. So, the midweek exertions, that game 1-1. The midweek exertions is actually worrying this Burnley team. And they haven't been impressive this season. They have, gone off the boil a bit. But I think that this is one game Manchester United should wrap up.
And after what Tottenham Hotspur did against United on Monday, winning their game at Old Trafford by 3-0, does not come as a surprise that at this point they are playing against Watford and no goal.
Well, I'm not surprised because you look at this Watford team and, in the first 3 matches, they've won all 3 matches and they scored 7 goals. They've been able to concede just 2 goals. Tottenham have scored 8 goals and conceded 2. That tells you that both teams have a very solid defense, very airtight defense. So it's going to be very difficult for, any of these teams to unlock each other. And you look at this Tottenham team and how they are playing. I think that, they are putting the pressure on. They are enjoying a lot of possession. They are playing, some fantastic football. We all know they have players in that fold that can actually head this Watford team. But Watford are keeping a very defensive line. They are very well organized in defense. And I think that, Javi Gracia has done a fantastic job on this team ever since he took charge from, Marco Silva in January. He's been able to keep this team going. And, they are growing in confidence. If you play your first 3 matches and you have 9 points, I think that, it gives your team a lot of impetus. And playing at home at the Vicarage Road, definitely you expect Tottenham to struggle against this team. So I'm really impressed the way Watford are playing. But I just think that Tottenham may, just nick this one. Tottenham look like a team that have lots of quality players on the field who can actually unlock this team. But, let's give full marks to Watford. They've done very well in this particular game.
Awesome stuff. So let's join our partners, the BBC, for second half commentary. After which, when we come, we'll look at all the matches that were played yesterday, as well as the 2 matches currently ongoing. The Manchester United-Burnley game, which United are winning by 2 goals now, as well as the Tottenham Hotspur-Watford game. This is Joy 99.7 FM.
Yeah, seemed generous. Gray's done well to earn his team a free kick. They're both wrestling with each other. The ball just falls to the side of them both. They're both fighting over it, and I don't think Sanchez does enough to give a foul away. But fantastic play from Gray or Frudds. His team are under a little bit of pressure. The ball comes up to him. He's against 2 Spurs defenders, and he wins himself and his team a free kick.
Free kick. Watford 0, Tottenham 1. Manchester United winning 2-0 at Burnley. England 1 wicket away from victory in the Test match in Southampton. Free kick. Holibas is going to play this in. Just forward and left of the centre circle. Curls it in. It's missed by Davis. Kabasele heads it back towards the edge of the box. But it was cleared away by Dembele. Now Watford with it again. Hughes. The Hughes ball in field has to be tidied up by Janmaat. And actually Watford have got to go all the way back to Ben Foster, who now left-footed drives a long ball, raking pass from the goalkeeper, looking for Pereira, who Watford have simply not been able to get into the game enough. Roberto Pereira. Here's Trippier, high ball to the edge of the area. Lucas Moura jumps high, heads it across the edge of the box, but into the path of Holibas, who clears. Header forward from Pereira. And now Troy Deeney, the barrel-chested Watford captain. Ball played out to the right-hand side to Janmaat. Janmaat eventually gets it under control. That shadow from the Graham Taylor stand is creeping across the pitch. Now half of the pitch in shade and half of it in this lovely, warm, bright sunshine. And I can tell you that the lines are open for 606 on 5 Live. World Service listeners with us as well, but you can call 08085 909 693 to speak to our brand new, well, almost brand new combination of Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. So obviously old firm calls will be very warmly received today with Chris's connections. So 08085 909 693 after Celtic's 1-0 win against Rangers in our first commentary match of the day. You can get in touch at 5 Live Sport on social media, of course. Text 85058. But this is BBC Radio, 5 Live and the World Service. Here's Harry Kane, nice turn from him, 25 yards out. But then the challenge comes in from Doucouré, the man who scored the own goal, the unfortunate own goal. Pereira now forward towards the halfway line, turns, switches play out towards the right-hand side, but the ball lands in between Deeney and Gray, cleared away by Vertonghen. However, Watford have got it back on the right-hand side. Janmaat is available if Gray wants to use him, but Gray uses Hughes, who arrived from behind. Janmaat now, but it's a little ponderous this from Watford on the right wing. Hughes, low and central, and then Gray spins. Might have been caught there by Dele Alli. He was tripped, sent flying. Free kick to Watford, right of centre, 30 yards out with the angle, Leon Osman.
Yeah, it's a poor free kick to give away from Dele Alli. Watford haven't really created an awful lot from open play. Watford Spurs have dominated them defensively. They've pushed Watford where they want to go. So they've got to not give them cheap opportunities to put the ball into the penalty area. And there's 2 or 3, maybe even 4 free kicks now Spurs have given away really cheaply and allowing Watford to put the ball into their penalty area. And you can't keep affording to do that when Watford have such ammunition in the striking options.
Good angle this for Holibas, who has walked away, stepped back from an angle, and he'll be looking to either drop it in or possibly whip it in. And here he comes now, Holebas. He does whip it in, but he whips it into the four-man wall. And that was a waste, but it's come back to Holebas, and this time he's hoisted one in towards the back post. Kabasele goes down. He was looking to head it, and he was challenged. And in fairness, there was no appeal from Kabasele. Trippier was with him. He went down, and Tottenham have cleared.
No, the ball came from such a high loft out the sky that...
Here's Lucas Moura, away down the right-hand side, into the penalty area, but he's over in it behind and blasts it into the... He blasts it into the back of the net, but he actually blasted it into what is actually the back of the net from behind the goal.
Yeah, he showed his pace there again. He actually ended up running so fast that he couldn't quite take the ball with him, and you know, an opportunity missed that for Spurs to try and create something. But just seeing the goal again, it's such a mix-up. Kabasele tries to head it.
Here's Gray for Watford, shoots from the edge of the D, but it sails over the bar by about a yard.
Good effort from Gray. Just what Watford need. They need to get the crowd on side. They need to start making Spurs defend. If that's what it takes, get the ball up into the strikers, get the players around them, get Hughes and Pereira coming in narrow, knowing that they're going to win the second balls. And Spurs have defended everything else that Watford have offered them. They need to try something new.
So Tottenham are winning 1-0 here. The next visitors here actually is Kabasele and Lucas Moura have just clashed heads, so we've got a stoppage. The next match here is the visit of Manchester United after the forthcoming internationals. So United coming here next, and United, Will Perry, still 2-0 up at Burnley?
Yeah, still Burnley 0, Manchester United 2, and Alexis Sanchez, as you come to me, John, not looking too happy to be substituted. Marcus Rashford is on with an hour played here. Sanchez, just before that, though, had an acrobatic effort into the ground, bounced into the hands of Joe Hart. Myself and Michael Appleton were talking at half-time. Michael, you were saying with your coaching hat on that they need to get Vokes on, someone to ruffle up this United defence. He's on for Hendrik Dyche, going 2 up top then alongside Chris Wood.
Yeah, I just think they need to get the ball forward a little bit quicker, just to cause the two centre halves of Manchester United a few problems. And I think straight away he's added that physical presence, and they know now that when the ball goes up there, it's not just Wood. He's not going to be isolated. He's got a partner to play off, and it looks more of a game now. You know, you can tell by the Burnley fans, they're getting right behind the team now, and you know the next goal is going to be crucial.
Yeah, you get the sense that this Burnley team is blowing a little bit from their European adventure. Burnley 0, Manchester United 2.
The stoppage continues here at Vicarage Road, and Lucas Moura and Kabasele have walked off the field. Lucas Moura's just being handed a yellow water bottle, and he's drinking some of it, spraying the rest of it down the back of his neck. And I think Kabasele has just received a little nick on the side of his head, just like a boxer's nick next to his right eye, and he's had some grease applied to that. So play back underway. Watford 0, Tottenham 1. The own goal, the 54th minute own goal from Abdoulaye Doucouré. Deeney trying to barge his way through, but it's cleared downfield by Alderweireld towards Lucas Moura. But Kabasele, there's the two of them together again, comes out with the ball, and then Holebas wins a throw-in just down in front of us, just next to the very smartly dressed Mauricio Pochettino, who the other night he was all in very dark blue, wasn't he? He wore a very dark blue shirt the other evening, which I thought was very Simeone, but he's got a white shirt on here as well as the dark blue suit and tie, and it looks as though he might well be in charge of a Tottenham team that wins its first 4 matches of the Premier League season. But still, best part of half an hour to play. However, Tottenham have a throw, Leon.
It surprised me how much Tottenham have chose to go long today. They keep consistently popping that long ball either up to Harry Kane or trying to get him behind, and with them trying to offer so much width with the wing backs, there are gaps opening up in between this Watford defence. Dele Alli's trying to capitalise on that. Kane is, and Eriksen is getting up behind, and Spurs are trying to make sure if they don't get the first ball, they certainly win the second ball.
Lines are open for 6:06. Trippier wins the ball back from Pereira. Trippier taking it on towards the dead ball line, but Holebas stood up against it. Trippier played it, well, it's a corner. The assistant was less than 10 yards away, and he's judged that Trippier played it into Holebas's foot before it rolled over the white line. Holebas does not look best pleased. He's walked towards the assistant and is pointing towards his boot, and he's pointing towards the Tottenham fans who are there, and clearly the suggestion is you've been influenced by the Tottenham fans. It's a corner to Tottenham, but the Test match, I think, is over, Eleanor.
It is all over, and the final wicket has fallen to Sam Curran. R. Ashwin, the man out. England win by 60 runs, and they win the series with an unassailable 3-1 lead, with one more match to go at the Oval next Sunday. And a final word from you, Simon Hughes. Conclusive victory today by England, brilliantly bowled.
And fittingly finished off by Sam Curran, who resurrected England's first innings when it was really faltering with that brilliant perky 79, and really got England up to a reasonable score of 250. India really lost this game where they collapsed in their own first innings from 140 off for 2 to 185 for 8, with Moeen Ali taking those 4 wickets in mid-innings. Their ineptness against Moeen Ali's spin in the first innings has really cost them, and they were never actually going to be able to chase 250 on this very dry turning pitch on the final day.
Tight, fascinating Test match over the 4 days, but in the end a conclusive victory for England by 60 runs, and so they have won the series. All starts again at the Oval on Friday, John.
Yeah, but as you say, Ali, really good Test match, and starring performances from 2 of the players brought back in, Curran and Moeen Ali, and I'm sure Jonathan Agnew will be interviewing them on the outfield at Southampton, and you can hear that on Test Match Special on 5 Live Sports Extra. But Watford coming forward, the ball played from the right, it took a flick and it actually hit the inside of the post and bounced back out from Troy Deeney on the right hand side. Might have taken a deflection that carried it onto the post. So close for an equaliser for Watford.
Well, sometimes in football you need a little bit of luck, and we nearly had an own goal for each side. I think it was Alderweireld as the ball was whipped in by Troy Deeney. He did great. He went shoulder to shoulder with Sanchez, won the battle. Sanchez is on the deck. Deeney whipped it across the face of the goal, and I'm sure it was Alderweireld who just got his head on the cross and put it right on that postage. I think it hit the crossbar, then the post, and somehow managed to evade the Watford strikers coming in to tap it in, Gray, and Spurs got away with it.
Watford coming again. Deeney loses out though, and Vertonghen gracefully takes the ball away from him, but Watford have got it back. They're building a little bit of a head of steam here, Watford, and then Hughes is blatantly handed off by Dembele, almost in the fullback position. That's an absolutely certain free kick and a certain yellow card as well for Dembele.
Well, Dembele's got his innocent face on, but he knows exactly what he's doing. Hughes has just knocked the ball down the side of him. Dembele's put his arm out, got right across him, and made sure that Hughes couldn't get past him. And Watford, at last, I think we're an hour into this game, maybe more, finally starting to attack Spurs down the wings and into the sides of the penalty area, into them pockets near the corner flag. And Spurs are struggling to match it at the moment.
And just before that, Tottenham at the other end, where we were listening to Simon Hughes and Eleanor, Kane had a great opportunity to set up Lucas Moura and with a cross from the left and hit the only defender. So it could have been 2-0 at one end, could have been 1-1 at the other. It is still Watford 0, Tottenham 1, but a free kick for Watford. Sounds tribal, this, doesn't it? In it comes to the near post. Deeney with a header! It's 1-1, and Troy Deeney has done it for Watford. Tottenham concede. It's 1-1.
Well, they finally started attacking into them wide areas, getting crosses into the penalty area. And who do you want on the end of a cross? Troy Deeney. He's arrived first. He jumps higher than anyone else, gets across his defender, flicks it into that far post, and it's very difficult to defend as a defender when a striker meets the ball at its height, gets across the defender, and he just guides it into that far post. It lands on the floor. Vaughan doesn't even move. It's a fantastic free kick. Deeney meets it, and it's 1-1.
Smashing delivery by Holebas, left-footed from the far side. Just one of those where the centre forward just needed exactly the glance that Deeney got. But more on that in a moment. Watford are about to make a change, but there's a penalty with you at Turf Moor, Will Perry.
The penalty to be taken by Paul Pogba for Manchester United to make it 3-0. Here he is, a stuttering run-up. Can he beat Joe Hart in front of the United fans? Hits it low down to his left, and Hart saves it. You can hear the cheer around Turf Moor. Paul Pogba denied. Lukaku was on the hat-trick. Pogba took the ball. Joe Hart kept it out. Michael Appleton. What about that? I mean, the penalty, it was a little nibble, wasn't it, from Aaron Lennon on Marcus Rashford? No doubts about that.
No, absolutely. It was a little bit clumsy from Aaron Lennon, and obviously, it was the strangest one was probably the fact that Lukaku on the brace didn't go up and really demanded the hat-trick.
Here comes the corner from Manchester United. It's going to fall to Luke Shaw from the edge of the box. He hits it and it's cleared eventually by Aaron Lennon, and it goes out for a Burnley goal kick. But Burnley sort of back in this game. They feel like they've got a goal by saving that from Joe Hart. Burnley 0, Manchester United 2.
Watford 1, Tottenham 1 here at Vicarage Road in the sunshine, and Watford having equalised just a couple of minutes ago. Troy Deeney scoring for the second time this season, scored in the win at Burnley, at Turf Moor a couple of weeks ago, and the place absolutely rocked when he scored that. I mean, he's such a favourite here, as you're probably aware. Gray's been substituted by Javi Gracia immediately after that, and Isaac Success, the Nigerian international, has come on. He actually scored in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday night for Watford. Pereira playing the ball back towards Ben Foster, and Foster clearing towards the newly arrived Success. Flicked forward for Tottenham by Trippier, cleared away back to Trippier, and then Success barges Trippier over, and it's a Tottenham free kick here, 1-1.
It is, but I said before that Spurs needed to stop giving Watford cheap free kicks. Watford's biggest threat this afternoon has been when they're allowed to put cheap free kicks and crosses into their penalty area, and they give 3, 4, 5 free kicks away in good positions for Watford at the start of this second half, and they were eventually punished for it.
So 1-1, 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. 6:06 on the way with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Tottenham coming forward, Trippier into Lucas Moura, who chips it to the near post. That is headed away. Pereira now up towards Success. This game feels as though it really is very much back in the balance again. Tottenham now have to respond. Dele Alli trying to find a way through. Eventually Capoue put in the challenge. It falls to Kane, edge of the area, but then in comes the challenge on Kane from Janmaat. Pereira has the ball, it's bouncing, Eriksson heads it back to the right here, Trippier, now Alderweireld tries to turn away from Doucouré, but Doucouré did well, and Alderweireld, I thought he was going to trip him as Doucouré ran away with the ball, but either he wasn't able to or he pulled out of it, and now Dele Alli wins the ball back from Doucouré. Dele Alli running the ball towards the corner of the penalty area, still going. Capoue puts in the challenge, wins the ball back from Dele Alli. This is frantic stuff here now as these two teams are going all out to try and maintain their 100% winning start to this Premier League season. 1-1, Success playing it to the right hand side, but it's a little short. Davis though loses out to Janmaat. Janmaat to Success just outside the D. Success rolls it to Deeney on the left hand side. Deeney right footed cross to the back post. Hughes was there, but Davis got his touch to it first with his head, and it dribbles out of play for a throw on the far side. I'm hearing, Will Perry, with you that you've had a red card.
We have, John. Burnley 0, Manchester United 2 still, but United are going to have to play these final 18 minutes or so with 10 men. Substitute Marcus Rashford showed a straight red card for putting his head against Phil Bardsley's head. We see it so many times in the Premier League. It came from a challenge. Bardsley won the ball. Rashford didn't like it. Challenged him with his head. Michael Appleton, so many times. I mean, I sound like a granddad, but their players know they can't do it. As soon as you put your head there, it's a straight red. Jonathan Moss, red card.
Yeah, Moss had he had no chance to give anything else but a red card. I think what happened is, as the ball was going out of play, Phil Bardsley's had a little kick out at Rashford, which I think he's been booked for, but Rashford can't get away with them type of things. We say it in week out, like you say, and he'll hope that certainly the team don't pay the price for it.
Burnley are coming forward. Burnley 0, Manchester United 2, but United down to 10 men.
So Marcus Rashford sent off, so obviously he'll be suspended for Manchester United's visit here after the internationals. This is full-blooded stuff now, Leon Osman. Watford 1, Tottenham 1 in front of us.
Well, you're right, it's turned frantic since that Watford goal. Neither team's been able to get the foot on the ball. Both dawdling, I would say, on the ball in the middle of the field. Both teams fully committed. You certainly can't say that about them. They're both determined to get the ball back, catching each other out in the middle of the park, and at the moment one team just needs to get the foot on the ball and start playing football. I'd say from a Spurs point of view, they need to do it more importantly, because at the moment Watford are really enjoying this frantic pace to the game.
Deeney playing the ball over the top towards Success. Success now challenging shoulder to shoulder with Davis. The ball runs into the full-back position for Watford. Success still going with it, plays it back towards Janmaat. Now Doucouré back to Janmaat. He drives it on towards the goal line, chips it over to the back post. headed across by Pereira, it's gone a long way, Hughes can't reach it, and it is volleyed away to comparative safety by Vertonghen. Watford coming again, Holebas wriggles away from Moura, cross to the near post, comes off the knee of Alderweireld, behind, corner.
Well, Watford at last have figured out how to get joy from this Spurs team. They need to overload them in the wide areas again on this occasion. Will Hughes gets down that right-hand side, an overlap from Janmaat, ball put into the penalty area, and Pereira, he goes to head the ball and he just doesn't connect with it properly. He looks one way, heads it the other way, and Spurs get away with it.
Watford haven't won a league match against Spurs since 1987. They're going for a second goal here. It's all level. We're into the last 15 minutes. Holebas with the corner. It's deflected in! Watford have turned it around, and Craig Cathcart has scored. It flew into the Tottenham net, and now, all of a sudden, it's Watford who are going for 4 wins out of 4 at the start of this season, and Tottenham are facing their first defeat. Watford 2, Tottenham 1.
Well, it's a great ball by Hughes into that 6-yard line, probably about 8 or 9 yards out, centre of the goal, and Cathcart doesn't do much. He looks like he's up against Dembele. Dembele's supposed to be marking him. Cathcart just gets himself a yard, just shrugs Dembele out, meets the ball as it lands. He doesn't even jump. He meets the ball as it comes into him and just guides it into that top corner. Nothing Michel Vorm could do, and Watford find themselves 2-1 up.
What a noise now inside Vicarage Road. They've only just finished celebrating. They were on top of each other in a huge pile down by the corner flag at the Rookery stand end. What scenes of celebration here. There's a guy in the Rookery stand, I noticed before the game, who's actually got a massive Union flag. It looks like something that might have been on Nelson's HMS Victory. It's about 3/4 of the way up, so it feels like last night at the proms, the whole lot, the flags are flying in there, the place is transformed.
Well, the noise is incredible. I can barely hear myself talk, even with the microphone, and it's been such a turnaround from Watford. At half-time, we were saying Spurs look like they're going to go on and win this game. They came out, they got that goal, albeit with an assist from a Watford player, Decore with the own goal, and since then, Watford have just turned it up a notch. Players have realised they can go out and try and affect this game. They can go and ask Tottenham questions. They've got the ball wide. They've got crosses into the penalty area. 2 set pieces is where the goals come from. Cheap free kicks given away from Spurs and corners. And Watford find themselves in front.
So now Watford are on for that first win in the league against Tottenham since 1987. Was that before you were born, Leon, or shortly after?
No, I'm a child of the 80s.
Yes, I thought you were.
Not the 70s, though.
No. Here's Trippier on the right-hand side. Trippier's cross hits Pereira's outstretched leg, bounces out of play next to the corner flag, but this side of it rather than the other side. So it is a throw to Tottenham in front of the Spurs fans who are, well, they're shocked by those 2 goals in 7 minutes or so from Deeney and Cathcart. Here's the throw towards the near post. It's bounced a long way. Lucas Moura got his head to it, but he was jumping for it, and if he got a glance to it, he could only nod it across the 6-yard box, and it was cleared by Watford. And now Success slides off the pitch. He's rescued by Javi Garcia in his brilliant white shirt, gives him a pat on the backside, and Javi Garcia might be about to see his team extend this club record. First time they've ever won the first 3 matches of a top flight season. Might be about to become 4. Ball's chipped though by Eriksson. Trippier plays it across. Cabaselli adjusting, clears it away. Alderweireld then nods it back to Trippier on the right hand side. Alderweireld again back to Trippier. Trippier now with the ball at his feet. It becomes stationary in front of Pereira. Back to Eriksson. Long shadows being cast now as Alderweireld plays it in right-footed, headed away by Cabaselli, comes out to Eriksson. Eriksson then rolls it, but it's behind Vertonghen, so they have to retreat slightly, Tottenham, and Eriksson turns and gives it to Alderweireld, and now back to Sanchez, and then out towards the far side. Watford play Manchester United next after the internationals. Tottenham play Liverpool next at Wembley. That's a 5 live commentary match, by the way, on the Saturday lunchtime. Spurs coming again, but the cross from the left is too close to Foster, who makes the catch. So Watford are winning 2-1. What about Manchester United and Burnley at Turf Moor, Will Perry?
Well, they should be 3-0 up now, John, but still Burnley 0, Manchester United 2. A long ball from the left-back position, played in Romelu Lukaku. He was onside, he was in a foot race with Ben Mee. He just had Joe Hart to beat. He did about 15 step-overs, got round Joe Hart. Ben Mee got back with a brilliant last-ditch tackle, went out for a goal kick, Michael Appleton.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to me, obviously, he was well beaten initially when the ball got played over the top. The pace and strength of Lukaku had him beaten. But like you say, you never give up on it, and once he's gone round Joe Hart, you think it's only going to be anything but a goal. And to be fair to me, he's done ever so well to stay with it and obviously see it out.
So Manchester United down to 10 men, and Romelu Lukaku still awaiting his first United hat-trick. Burnley 0, Manchester United 2.
Still Watford 2, Tottenham 1. It was 1-0 to Tottenham. The Abdoulaye Doucouré own goal. But 2 goals from Deeney in the 69th minute, Cathcart in the 76th. And Tottenham now, Maurizio Pochettino making his first change of the match, and he's bringing on Llorente up front, and he's taken off one of his 3 central defenders, Leon Osman. Alderweireld.
Yeah, Spurs will go to a back 4 now. They look like they're going 4 across the midfield as well. Dembele's sitting in front, Eriksen in the middle. Mora's looks like he's come out to this right-hand side, maybe give them a little bit of width, and Dele Alli will play narrow off the left-hand side.
So this is the experienced Spanish international Llorente's first appearance of this new season. The 33-year-old, and he's now up front. Looks like it will continue to be effectively a front 3 now for Tottenham. Moura stayed up there. Harry Kane. It's quite a quiet afternoon, hasn't he, Harry Kane?
He has. He's been well marshalled by this Watford defence. They've not given him a moment. Every time he looks like he may have got on the half turn to get a shot away, they've been right on him.
Here's Eriksen now through the middle, stabs it towards Llorente, who took a touch, but it ran away from him in the, again, excellent Cabaselli, who was able to clear it away on the edge of the box. He looks as though Cabaselli, I mean, he played very well last weekend against Crystal Palace here, but he received an absolute avalanche of praise. He actually looks like a player who knows that he's received a lot of praise, and you know, it's brought him extra confidence. Here are Tottenham with the ball on the left-hand side, and the challenge on Llorente by Cathcart, possibly the winning goal scorer, Craig Cathcart, who last scored over 2.5 years ago, Craig Cathcart. But he buried that header from the corner. Tottenham take the throw. They've got the ball back again. It's played back by Dele Alli, centrally towards Vertonghen. Now back out towards the left-hand side. Played in field. And then Dele Alli, square ball towards Eriksen. 25 yards out, shoots, but it's straight at Ben Foster, who pats it down. Almost reacts as though it was burning red hot as he sort of took the pace off it, took his hands away from it and grabbed it as it bounced up.
Well, it's a tame shot in the end from Eriksen. He had Trippier out wide, given real width. They had 4 players in the penalty area, all waiting for that ball to go wide so they could find themselves a place in that penalty area, and a cheap shot from Eriksen. Just give the ball back to Watford cheaply.
6 minutes to play plus added time. Watford winning 2-1 against Tottenham. Manchester United still 2-0 up, but down to 10 men after Rashford sending off. Arsenal winners earlier at Cardiff. Here though is Llorente crossing, looking for Moura, headed away by Cathcart. Comes off the head of Holebas in the full-back position, bounces behind into the hoardings, the ever-changing electronic hoardings for a corner to Tottenham. So Watford 2-1 up, lines open for 606 08 085 909 693. Text 85058 to talk to Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball. Trippier with the outswinging corner, headed away for Watford. Good clearance on it as well from Holebas on the edge of the box. Played back in, out towards the left-hand side. Steered across towards Llorente, who very nearly got a touch from an angle in the 6-yard box, but I don't think he did. And it bounced for Foster, falling forward to grab it into his chest.
Well, as the corner's cleared, it's a diagonal from Eriksen over the top of the Watford right back into Vertonghen. He just opens his foot up and just passes it into the 6-yard line. Llorente is first there. He should control it. He should get his control with his right foot and hit it with his left foot. He tries to just flick it with his right foot. He doesn't get enough on it, and it was very easy for Ben Foster to take, but opportunity gone for Spurs.
Yep, 2 more substitutes waiting to come on. Winks for Tottenham, Chalobah for Watford. As I say, the internationals coming up. We'll bring you a whole range of commentaries over the course of the next couple of weeks on the matches involving the home nations. You'll hear both England matches here on 5 Live. Thursday night, Wales against Republic of Ireland in the New Nations League. Scotland, Belgium on Friday night, and others too. So listen out for that. But 5 Live in the World Service. Watford, as the ball goes out of play. It's Will Hughes who is being withdrawn by Watford. So Nathaniel Chalobah, who is, as you probably know, a player of whom great things are hoped, 23 years old, missed a lot of last season because he fractured his kneecap, but now beginning to come back, and this is his first Premier League appearance since his return. So he coming on for Will Hughes, Leon.
Yeah, Hughes had a good afternoon, been involved in most of the good stuff that Watford have done, getting the ball out wide and into the penalty area. But it's a clever substitution from Javi Gracia. He's putting Chalobah into the middle of the field alongside Decore and Kapui, shoring up that middle of the park where Tottenham have tried to have most of the success today.
And Winks is on too for Tottenham. Who did he come on for?
Dembele.
So Dembele is off, so that's a straight swap for Winks, who also, you'll remember, missed quite a lot of last season with an injury. So it is less than 5 minutes of the 90 to play. Watford 2, Tottenham 1. Still Manchester United comfortable, scored 2 goals in the first half. Lukaku got both of them. Rashford sent off, but they are winning 2-0 at Turf Moor. We will have, by the way, interviews from the Test match, England winning the Test match, bowling out India, and we will have reaction to that. Lewis Hamilton won the Grand Prix, the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, and the US Open will be getting underway. In fact, it is underway. Here now, ball played across towards Kane, and Kane heads it over from 7 yards out. Trippier on the right, landed on Kane's head, and he headed it over.
Well, it's when you expect him to score. The ball has just been played wide by Winks into Trippier. All he does is take a touch, open his body up, and just hang it into the penalty area. 6 yards out, Kane is jumping, he gets over the top of Cathcart, and he just heads it over the bar. He doesn't direct it. I think he rose high enough. I think he could have hit the target. It was a lazy header. He just allowed the ball to hit his head, and it went over the crossbar.
Might not get a better chance than that, Tottenham, to equalise. Here's Llorente. Llorente pass was a little short for Kane, and now Pereira. In comes Harry Winks. Winks, first touch of the match, turns nicely, plays it out to Trippier on the right hand side. Trippier sets himself, here's the ball into the box. Oh, Cavaselli missed it. He was a little fortunate there that Cathcart was behind him to head it away. Tottenham pressing now, 3 minutes to play. And Winks now with a run forward towards the edge of the penalty area, standing up strong but taking it wide now. A little flick, doesn't reach Kane, away by Holebas, further away by Capu. I think it's going to be backs to the wall from Watford for the remainder of this game. A success, I think, fouled for Tongan, and then for Tongan is back across into Success, and I thought fouled Success. So it depends whether the initial foul was given or not against Success, which I think it might have been.
Yeah, the referee blew his whistle earlier. Vertonghen just wanted to get on with the game. Success, whether he didn't hear the whistle or he was just carrying on, continued the game. Vertonghen just wanted to get the ball back off him. There's a little coming together. Success goes down far too easily. Yes, there may have been a coming together after that, but Vertonghen was just desperate to get on with the play, and the referee and Success stopped him doing that.
Yeah, the free kick had already been given, but Vertonghen was quite aggressive in the way that he got the ball back. But Tottenham come again. Ball played by Davis to Dele Alli. Square from Dele Alli to Moura with his right foot back onto his left. But then the attempted pass square was cut out by Capu, and it runs away out of play on the halfway line. Spurs going to make another change, final change. Ben Davis coming off to be replaced by Danny Rose, who is coming on for only his second appearance of the season. Less than 90 seconds to play. Time running out for Tottenham to get anything out of this.
It is, and I think this game today shows that you cannot switch off for a moment in the Premier League. Spurs cruising, 1-0 up, okay, with an assist for the goal, and then they just sort of relaxed. It was as if they thought, job done, that's enough, let's see the game out. They gave away 2 or 3 sloppy free kicks. Watford took advantage, 2 goals in 7 minutes, and Spurs haven't been able to find them same level since. They've been sloppy, they've given the ball away.
Moura went into the challenge with Pereira, comes out with the ball, is played across, lands at the feet of Kane, and the whistle's gone just when Kane was setting himself to shoot a goal. I think Llorente was picked up by referee Mariner for his initial challenge.
Yeah, it did look like a foul. Llorente just into the back of, I think it was Cavaselli on that occasion, saw him under the ball, which allowed the ball to run through to Harry Kane.
Or possibly handball in there. Pereira is down with cramp and is going to be substituted. So the 90 minutes are almost up. If Watford hang on and win this, I'm not sure my ears are going to be able to stand the noise that we'll get. Watford have not won against Tottenham in any competition since 1994. That was a League Cup tie at White Hart Lane, and as I say, they've not won a league match. I mean, this century doesn't tell the half of it. Since 1987, 5 minutes of added time. Mariappa is coming on, the experienced Adrian Mariappa. So another defender coming on. So I think that tells us all. But 5 minutes to play.
Yeah, and Watford couldn't have dreamed of this start at the start of the season. 4 wins potentially on the run, beating Spurs, who they haven't beaten for nearly 30 years, so maybe over 30 years. So it's a fantastic start to the season. That's why the noise that this Watford crowd are making is so intense.
Watford winning the ball back from Danny Rose. Now Janmaat with a deep cross from the right. Trippier turns, twists. He knew Deeney was behind him, so he had to be careful, headed it behind. He's turning to Vorm, he's saying, I didn't get a call. It's a Watford corner. Deeney will be in no hurry.
No, Deeney got exactly what he wanted there. He allowed Trippier just to head the ball. He pretended he was going to challenge him. He just stood off him. Trippier didn't know what was around him, wanted help from Vaughan, ended up just flicking it out for a corner.
We know what's happening with this corner. Yep, taken short. Success comes across. Deeney himself took it. The ball is stabbed up the line. Holebas is there. He's going to chip it back over the top. Success was in an offside position, ran past it, so Deeney ran onto it. Deeney's got it, trying to win a free kick against Sanchez. Trippier's nibbling at him. Ball bounces out of play. Has that been given as a Watford free kick? I think it has, you know.
Oh, Troy Deeney is an expert at that. Just the ball played into the corner. He gets there first, gets his body in, shows an initial bit of strength, which makes the defender think that they need to go toe-to-toe with him. And as the second bit of strength comes in from the defender, he takes the foul and goes down. And it's such clever play from an attacker, from a striker, but also from your skipper.
I think Deeney might be a decent interviewee after this match. John Southall is going down to do the interviews. I don't think you need to make a note of that. He's always entertaining. We'll try and bring you the live interviews, by the way, into 606 with Ali Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. 08085909693. Once we've rounded everything up, and it's been such a busy sporting day. Manchester United on the way to victory after their 2 defeats. Our success has impeded the throw that Tottenham have won, so that's a yellow card for Success. But time is ticking. 2.5 minutes to play. Watford on the way to 4 wins out of 4, joining Liverpool and Chelsea. This will be Tottenham's first dropped points of the new season, and indeed might be their first defeat. Winks still 10 yards inside his own half. We're in the last 3 minutes now of added time. The Vicarage Road crowd is trying to do their bit here. Sanchez in the centre circle, then raking pass by Vertonghen. Oh, it's only half headed away by Success. Trippier's got it back, stabs it across. Llorente couldn't get his head to it. Cabaselli headed it down. Watford scrape it clear. Then Moura, poor touch from Moura. That's chipped forward by Chalabar. And it is taken on by Doucouré. And Doucouré's got only one thing in his mind, which was the corner flag. But he should have perhaps had 2 things on his mind, because he missed the touchline and he ran it over the touchline for a throw into Tottenham.
Well, you can see how hard he's worked today. He's been excellent in the middle of that park, stopping Spurs playing the football they want to play, and his tired legs just ran him out the field.
Trippier's throw was almost cut out by Chalabar, but Winks has got it, and Winks plays it through for Kane, but Kane can't get there. Potential winning goal scorer Cathcart got there instead. Rose has been tripped. Free kick to Tottenham, left corner of the box. This might be the last chance.
Well, Spurs will want to make it count. Eriksen's going over to take it. It's right on the corner of the penalty area on Spurs' left-hand side, so it'll be an in-swinger from Eriksen. Everybody's gone up. There's nobody left in the Spurs half bar. Michel Vorm. Vinks is probably about 10 yards outside the penalty area, and he's Spurs' deepest players. Everyone else is in the box.
Could be Trippier to play it, but unlike you, I think surely Eriksen. In fact, Trippier does walk away. So, free kick. This is the moment. We're in the 5th minute of added time. That is the final minute of added time. Watford are leading Tottenham by 2-1. Watford on the way to victory, unless Tottenham can score from this Christian Eriksen, free kick, which is played in now, takes a glance off a Watford head. And it's over the top of the crossbar from Deeney for a corner. Tottenham trying to get this corner taken. They're sprinting over to take it short. Trippier plays it across, headed away by Cathcart. Oh, Danny Rose half volleys it, almost right up the stand at the Vicarage Road end. It's a goal kick, and Watford are on their way to victory.
Yeah, poor effort from Rose. He's on the back foot. It's coming out the sky. It's on his right foot as he tries to connect with it and just skies it. And you can tell by this reaction, Watford players have just hugged each other on the field. The fans are going crazy. They think that's job done.
Goal kick. This might be the last kick. It is! It's a Watford win. Tottenham drop points for the first time this season. Tottenham are beaten for the first time this season. And then there were three who'd won 4 out of 4 at the start of this Premier League season. Liverpool, Chelsea and Watford.
Well, we came here today knowing that one of these teams' 100% records was going to go. We expected, coming away from this game, that Spurs would still be the team with a 100% record, but for 60 minutes of this game that looked like it was going to be the case. Spurs were on top, they dominated defensively, they looked like they were prodding and probing, and they eventually got that goal, but 5 minutes later they just seemed to take their foot off the gas. They were sloppy with passes, they gave 4 or 5 free kicks away to Watford in very dangerous positions, and Watford eventually took advantage of it, and once they did, the crowd got up, Watford were in the ascendancy, and Spurs found it difficult to deal with, and they just never recovered from that.
Well, what an atmosphere inside this place. The Tottenham players leave the field with their heads down, and the Watford players celebrate, the supporters. Elton John's here, Leon, so we might have a big sing-song inside Vicarage Road after this game. Come on, Elton, get the piano out.
Oh, I'll sing if he does the piano, I'm up for that. Oh, Abbey Grassy is on the field now, celebrating with his players. He's going to each one of them in turn, giving them a hug. He'll be delighted with them. They found it tough in the first half to match Spurs, to try and ask Spurs questions. Spurs were the better team in the first half. He got them in at half time. He eventually got them playing the way he wanted to play, and they delivered for him.
So in all competitions for Watford this season, it's 5 wins out of 5, having won in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday night, but it is an extension of their club record. Now it's the first time Watford have won their first 4 matches of a top flight season. Amazing stuff. They were 1-0 down with just over half an hour to go, but scored 2 goals in 7 minutes through the irrepressible Troy Deeney and central defender Craig Cathcart, and the final score here at a red-hot Vicarage Road is Watford 2, Tottenham 1.
So welcome back. This is your super station Joy 99.7 FM. Thanks to our partners the BBC for second half commentary of the Watford Tottenham Hotspur game, which Watford surprisingly won that game by 2-1. So Watford they've joined the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool as the teams that have not lost a game yet in this season's English Premier League. 4 games all for the 3 teams have gone in their favour. So you look at the table now, it's Liverpool 12, Chelsea 12, and then Watford 12 after 4 match days. So they've kept their 100% record intact after beating Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. Was Tottenham that got the first goal, and even it was an own goal. So you will say that all 3 goals scored today came from Watford. Was Abdoulaye Doucouré that scored the own goal in the 53rd minute, and then Troy Deeney equalised in the 69th minute before Craig Cathcart added the winning goal, which came in the 76th minute. So Watford, congrats to them for winning this afternoon's English Premier League. Also, the other game has ended, the game involving Manchester United and Burnley. That game ended 2-0 in favour of Manchester United with King Lukaku, the man who will always dazzle us and amaze us every weekend or every match day. He scored 2 goals and he had the opportunity to score a hat-trick, and he actually denied himself from getting a hat-trick today when he had taken on Joe Hart, and Joe Hart actually misplaced Joe Hart somewhere, but he couldn't slot the ball. He actually waited for the defender to come clear the ball from him. So Lukaku getting 2 goals for Manchester United as they won their game by 2-0 at Turf Moor, and then at Vicarage Road it was for the home team that won the game against Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1. It's been a good afternoon for the Manchester United fans. Jose Mourinho getting a win after what has been a terrible, or a how should I even put it, a torrid, yes, after what was been a torrid time for the manager in his last 2 games. Against Brighton he lost, and then lost at home to Tottenham Hotspur, and this afternoon he's won his game against Burnley by 2-0. So I'm sure the Manchester United fans out there, you are very, very delighted, and this is a perfect time to hear from you. So join us on our WhatsApp line 0244 340 437, 0244 340 437. On Facebook we are live on Joy 99.7 FM at Facebook, so you can post your comments there and also watch us live there as you listen to us on radio. And also on Twitter is at Joy 99.7 FM. You can also tweet at me. My personal Twitter handle is at Kwesi Benedict. So the matches played today: Arsenal winning the early game today. They played against Cardiff City, and that was also another great game. Arsenal scored, Cardiff equalized, they scored, and then they equalized, and then Lacazette got the final, which was the third and the winning goal for Arsenal as they won that game by 3-2. And then Manchester United just some few minutes ago finished their game against Burnley 2-0 winners, and Watford also finishing off Tottenham Hotspur by 2-1 to keep their 100% record.
It's in. Watford have conceded the goal. Tottenham have scored it. I think it's an own goal off Cabaselli. They failed to clear a ball into the penalty area. It was driven across by Lucas Moura, and 5 or 6 yards away from his own goal, I think it hit him on the chest, and agonisingly for Watford, bounced inside the post. Ben Foster scrambling back, couldn't reach it. It was over the line into the net, and Tottenham are in front 1-0. Free kick for Watford. In it comes to the near post. Deeney with a header! It's 1-1, and Troy Deeney has done it for Watford. Tottenham concede. It's 1-1. We're into the last 15 minutes. Hollybass with the corner. It's deflected in! Watford have turned it around, and Craig Cathcart has scored. It flew into the Tottenham net, and now, all of a sudden, it's Watford who are going for 4 wins out of 4 at the start of this season, and Tottenham are facing their first defeat. Watford 2, Tottenham 1.
So that's our commentary game. Ketia partners the BBC, which Watford won by 2-1. Now to introduce you to my guest in the studio, the EPL Club here in the studio. You can also join us on WhatsApp 0244 340 437. Well, we have a new face here in the studio. Dominic Abua is a Chelsea fan, and Eustace Akwe is back on the show. 2 weeks missing, he's back, and the man Raymond Nyamado, tough man, always here with me. Guys, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon.
You're welcome, Benedict. Thank you.
Raymond, I'll start with you. Let's look at the Tottenham Hotspur Watford game. Is it the kind of scoreline you anticipated?
Well, certainly not. You look at the kind of start Tottenham have had to their season, where you know, at this point last season, Tottenham had just picked up 4 points. But you look at their performance this season, and they picked maximum 9 points from their first 3 games. Everybody was expecting that, you know, they'll hit the ground running. And you also look at the fact that Harry Kane barely scores in August. Harry Kane has scored in August this season, and so you could only expect that Tottenham would get better, you know, as the season wears on. And, you know, with that early start, you know, everybody was expecting that Tottenham would be able to challenge for the Premier League title. But you look at how this particular game went, and you give full marks to Watford. And I was saying that, look, this is a team team that struggled last season to stay afloat. This is a team that had to sack a manager, during the second round of the season. That was when Javi Gracia had to come in. You look at how they've been able to put the pieces together, how he's been able to get this team to play as a unit. You look at them this season and they've been explosive. They've been very phenomenal. I've seen Roberto Pereira, lead the line very well for them. Troy Deeney has always been, a leader in that particular team. You look at the likes of Cat leading the line at the back. I think that, it's a total team effort from this team. And you look at how they played today against the Tottenham team that possessed the ball very well, a Tottenham team that tried to control the game as much as possible, a Tottenham team that have lots of quality players in their fold. And you look at how Watford were able to hold their own, not only to just secure a draw or anything, but they were able to go ahead and get a win in this particular game. It tells you that this Watford team looks very decent this season. The coach has been able to work on this team to a very large extent, getting them to play as he would want them to play. And I think that what has helped this Watford team is the fact that at Vicarage Road they've tried to make it a very difficult place to go to. And in the last 4 matches they've played 3 matches at home, and that tells you that it's an impregnable team at home. And you can just look at this team and say that they are trying to make their home a fortress. Being able to beat Tottenham, the momentum is with them, the confidence is with them, and you see this Watford team do a lot of things this season at the Vicarage Road. So
great game for Watford, winning by 2-1 and then clinching all 3 points, and Swallows joining Chelsea and Liverpool as the only 3 teams that have not lost a game yet in this season's English Premier League. 4 matches, they've all won their games yesterday. Liverpool won, Chelsea won, and then Watford. Eustace, yes, you look at how Tottenham Hotspur played against your team, Manchester United. First half, it wasn't a very good performance from the side. They were able to contain United, and then second half, when they came, they unleashed all the goals. You expected them to run right over Watford?
No, actually, Benedict, I knew they were in for a very, very tough game at Vicarage Road. Watford themselves have had the best start to the Premier League, in God knows how long, and I knew they'll come out guns blazing. Very, very difficult to be beaten on the day. I knew they weren't going to roll over. They were just going to keep their stats in and give it a big shot because it was a home game for them. And I knew, but personally, I thought they would at least get a point. I didn't know they were going to get all 3 points because I think Tottenham have the ambition to win the league, and making mistakes against
teams like Watford.
Yeah, relatively weaker opposition like Watford. I thought Tottenham will be out to avoid that. When you go away and you can't win all 3 points, it's just best to get at least a point. But credit to Watford, they've done the amazing thing. I don't think anybody gave them a shout for this game at all. So yes.
All right, but Dominic, you look at this Watford team and how far they've come this season, winning 3 out of 3 before this game. Their last game against Crystal Palace, they beat Crystal Palace by 2-1. And then a Tottenham Hotspur side that won their game against Manchester United, and you look at them and with Harry Kane scoring for the very first time in August, and also most of their players, Lucas Moura, on top form. Trippier, amazing player he's been for the side so far in this season. You definitely will not give Watford a chance. But then they come up, and even all the goals that were scored in this game were goals that were scored by Watford.
Yeah, Watford. Okay, I wouldn't say that much. But then if you see some things in EPL, like Crystal Palace, Watford, and other teams, even if they are down by 2 goals, they will never give up. They will keep fighting till they equalize or even just go by half time. But then, what I would say is that Watford are a very, very strong team. They have a very perfect start in this EPL season with 3 wins already, and then so then what I would say is that I knew they are going just for 1 point in this match, but then they've done a very perfect job here with the.
Well, the 1 point indeed, they turn out to be 3 points for them. Exactly. Eustace, you want to add something?
Yeah, I think Tottenham against Man United. I saw that game, and in the first half they were absolutely shambolic. They didn't play well. Man United had the game. They were just very intelligent when they came out of the dressing room, and then they lobbed all their balls into the central defensive area where Man United had a problem. So I think Watford must have seen videos of how Spurs played, and they exploited them fully in this game.
Okay, so we'll get reactions to that game. We'll definitely hear from Mauricio Pochettino on his side's defeat, as well as hear from the Watford manager. But now to take a look at the Manchester United game, because at the same time that the Watford-Tottenham Hotspur game was going on, we also had the Manchester United game against Burnley, which United won by 2-0, and all goals coming from the man Lukaku. Paul Pogba actually got a penalty and fluffed it. Joe Hart saved it. Raymond, yes, Jose Mourinho, we all know the things that he's been talking about, which we will analyze everything. We'll talk about his presser last Friday, how he talked about him being the greatest ever manager, and all the things that has come. I mean, yeah, Jurgen Klopp has also had to say something about Jose Mourinho's presses, and we'll listen to him. But on the game, Manchester United obviously deserve to clinch all 3 points.
Well, it was a game Burnley were never into. Burnley never looked like a team that would trouble Manchester United, and especially on the back foot that Manchester United were badly beaten on Monday night. Definitely, Jose Mourinho and his men were going to respond in this particular game. And you look at the quality of players Manchester United have on the pitch. Definitely, these players are supposed to go out week in, week out and get results for Manchester United. As to how this team has failed to gel as a unit, as to how they have capitulated in games, it's a question that I've struggled to find answers to. But I think that this Man United team definitely were going to win this game. And on the back that, Burnley had just played a midweek game or a Thursday night football match against Olympiacos. It was always going to be very difficult for them to put their team together. I think that Burnley played very well last season to make it to European places. But I think they have failed to have the squad. They don't have a big enough squad to be able to deal with the pressure of playing Thursday night football and playing in the league. That has been their problem because
probably maybe the combination of the Europa League as well as the EPL is taking a toll on them.
You look at both teams, and Manchester United played their 4th game of the season today. Burnley had to play their 7th game of the season. That certainly doesn't help a team that doesn't have so much quality on the bench.
And they played against Olympiacos. That was just last Thursday.
Just on Thursday, yes. And so it was definitely going to have a toll on the team. And so I wasn't surprised the way the results went. But that notwithstanding, I still think that this team has to get back to winning ways, because you look at the whole team, they've scored 3 goals this season, and 2 of the goals have come from a defender, James Tarkowski. That tells you that this Burnley team is not up there yet. They've kind of gone off the colour a bit. The kind of team we saw them, the kind of opposition we saw them as last season, it's not the same opposition that we are seeing them, this season. So I still think that Sean Dyche and his men have to go back to the drawing board and start getting back to winning. I think the international break will do them a lot of good. I still see this Burnley team coming back strongly, but full marks to Manchester United. They needed to respond, and they got the job done for Manchester United.
And pressure is off Jose Mourinho finally getting something after what has been, at least for now, after what has been a torrid week for him, losing to Tottenham Hotspur and also losing away to Brighton. Now he gets the opportunity to see something, and the something that he saw was a win for the side. But before we talk about Jose Mourinho, Lukaku, he actually denied himself the opportunity to score a hat-trick today.
Benedict, Romelu Lukaku is not the classic centre forward who's going to give you 40 goals per season. He has his strengths and his weaknesses. I think he's not the classic finisher. His strength focuses on his body, his physical ability, to hold up play, but his finishing still leaves a lot to be desired. His aerial ability is supreme, right up there with the very best. But I saw the first goal. He just, one chance, one goal. But subsequently, after his brace, I expected him to be hungry enough for the hat-trick. But I saw chances upon chances where he actually rounded goalkeepers and still couldn't put in. Lukaku has missed too many sitters this season, Benedict, and it's quite sad for me. I think that's the part of his game he has to learn to be lethal, a complete finisher, just get the job done. If it's 5 chances, at least a minimum of 4, conversion rate. Romelu is fluffing his lines too much. We don't have Manchester United, as a Man United fan, we don't have a backup number 9. Rashford really struggles in that position, so I think Romelu should impact himself to maximum effect when he's on the pitch.
But at least he got 2 goals for United, and that got them the 3 points from 3 games that they've played. But for Jose Mourinho, this is a big sigh of relief.
Yeah, I think Jose Mourinho wanted to avoid the 3rd defeat in this season, in the 4th match, because it would have been a very bad game for him if he lost this game. So I think it's a very good game for him, and then he won, and he's very happy. We ought to listen to him for the post-match conference, what he's actually going to say over there. Because most of the times when he wins matches like this, he comes out with very funny and ridiculous comments.
Well, it looks like Dominic is interested in hearing from Jose Mourinho, so definitely we'll get to hear from Jose Mourinho and the comment that he'll pass after his 2-0 win over Burnley. But let's look at the Manchester United players. Raymond, yes, we talked about Jose Mourinho, but we've seen players at the side also not doing what is expected of them, especially in this game. Marcus Rashford, what was that for? You got a needless red card.
Well, I wouldn't say it's inexperience, but I think Marcus Rashford is frustrated by the fact that he's sitting on the bench. He's again frustrated by the fact that this is a team he feels that he's grown into. He should be starting games week in, week out. Coming onto the pitch and suffering the kind of tackle he suffered from the defender, he failed to control his nerves. A bit of frustration set in there, and that's why he did what he did. But I still think that the referee was, a bit harsh. It wasn't, there was contact.
Wasn't it the same as the Richarlison?
It wasn't, the contact wasn't too.
Wasn't it the same as that of Richarlison?
Yes, but I still think that the referee could have been a bit lenient on him. But I still think that
everyone is being sentimental.
No, I mean, you look at young Marcus Rashford. I wouldn't say he did that out of inexperience, but I think the frustration of sitting on the bench and coming onto the pitch and getting into such a tackle, definitely frustrated the player. But it's something he shouldn't have been doing, because the manager who's sitting on the bench, Jose Mourinho, doesn't take business when you do things like this. Jose Mourinho is going to kick you out of the team once you get some of these things, some of these acts in your game. And so I think that the player did not step up to the party. The player failed to live up to expectation. And then to other players, a player like Paul Pogba, he needed to score that goal, that assurance goal for Manchester United. Just secure all 3 points for them at that moment. He failed to convert a chance, and the next moment there was a red card. If Burnley had scored one goal in that game, definitely the game would have turned it on its head. We would have seen a photo finish to that game. But I think most of the players are failing to live up to expectation. Most of the players who are supposed to carry this team on their shoulders.
Did you add Matic to it?
Well, I think that Matic has just joined the team, and to be fair to him, after the World Cup, he got injured. He had to stay on the sidelines for a while. He's now getting his match fitness back. He's now getting back, game time. So it will take him some time to get back into his stride. But I still think that the players who are already, playing, players who are supposed to actually live up to expectation. Lukaku on the pitch should have secured a hat-trick in this particular game. He should have scored that third goal. But, he kept fluffing his lines. And, that has been the story of Manchester United. I think the defense today was okay. At least Benny didn't give them too much pressure, so they were able to hold their own. The midfield was a bit okay. I think Marouane Fellaini stabilized the ship a bit. But I still think that Man United should be doing more than we are seeing them do. Because you look at the kind of players that they have in their team, Paul Pogba, the kind of money that was spent to bring him to the team and the kind of football he's playing.
Yeah.
I think that some of these players need to step up to the plate and start playing fantastic football. It's not impressive. Man United got the job done today against Burnley. But if they had played a team, stronger than Burnley, Manchester United may have lost that game.
But it's not all the players that at least is going bad for them. One player that is really going well for him at United now is Luke Shaw. And by virtue of what we've seen from him in the last 4 games, he's actually earned a call-up to the English team for their friendlies, I think, against Spain and one other team. He's been very good for the side, but these opportunities were not coming last season, and now he's taking them very well.
Yes, Benedict, I agree with you on Luke Shaw. I think he's been excellent this season. He's been one of the standout players for United. Given the opportunity in the very first game, I think he took that opportunity. He made an impact on the game, and he showed his commitment to the cause of Man United. And the problem with the team, Man United, I believe fundamentally is in central defense. You see, I've seen Jose Mourinho coach in other clubs. I've seen him at Real Madrid, Inter Milan, Chelsea. There have been times he scored ridiculous amounts of goals. And nobody would have tagged him a defensive coach then. But I think the weakness in this Man United team is in the central defensive pairing. We don't have that leader. Liverpool used to suffer from the same problem until they got Virgil van Dijk. They were scoring, but they were still shipping goals. Man United is a team that Mourinho is reluctant to ship goals. Did
this problem exist last season?
Yes, I think it did. People criticize our style, our brand of football, because the midfielders were more defensive.
So Eric Bailly wasn't a solution.
Eric Bailly injured. Eric Bailly is probably the only decent, I won't even say world class, the only decent centre back we have. Phil Jones and Smalling.
No. Smalling is not.
No.
Lindelof,
Lindelof has been a disappointment. Really, when he came and the way he spoke and the confidence of the boy wanting to take free kicks, I thought he was a ball-playing defender, but he's left a lot to be desired. The central defensive pairing is weak, and Mourinho knows if the shackles are free for the midfield like the way Liverpool, Man City, the midfielders should attack fully. The holes will be, the gaping holes will be left behind. Look at the judgment of Lindelof. Look at the 2 games we lost. Look at the errors. Eric Bailly, the hole is there. And any good team can exploit it. You saw how Spurs turned the game around in the second half when they started lobbing all the balls into that area of the field. So that gaping hole is there, and Mourinho was asking the board, Woodward, whoever it was, to get him He was so desperate. He went for Bonucci, 30-year-old Jerome Boateng.
Now that the opportunity is not, he's not going to get that opportunity
So
because the transfer window has already ended. So what is he going to do?
No, I'm sorry, Man United fans, but we are not going to see any nice football till December. So the January transfer window at the very...
Just because one part of the department is not good.
It is a crucial part of the department. You know, our attack is sharp, but the shackles need to be free. We need to unleash Man United as we've known before.
So it's like it's like the previous Liverpool Jaguar and the attacking Jaguar and the defense Tico.
Yes, exactly. That's what we have. And Mourinho is afraid. He's afraid the opponents might exploit it. He's afraid to show his Achilles heel. You get it. But if we solidify that position, if we had Harry Maguire, Jerome Boateng, whoever it was, Bonucci, any of them, if we had one person to marshal that back line, the shackles will be free. And I believe since Fred has arrived, Paul Pogba would have the freedom he wants to play as a box-to-box midfielder without any defensive restrictions. So that's my take on the outlook of the United team. They need a centre-back badly.
Okay, Raymond, let's wrap up on Manchester United. Now, we've got the international break, so next week, no English Premier League games. The league will bounce back after 2 weeks. What does this do for United, and how can they build on this win going forward? Because they've got some cracking games coming up.
Well, you look at this international break and you ask yourself if it helps Manchester United in any way. I would say no, because most of the players that Jose Mourinho would have had to train with would be joining their national teams. And so it still leaves him with the problem of finding it very difficult to put a team together. Yeah. You look at this Manchester United defense, and Jose Mourinho still doesn't know his best centre-back pairing. After 3 seasons at Manchester United, Jose Mourinho cannot find a formidable starting 11. He doesn't know who's going to start games for him. It's a big problem for United. Valencia is still playing on the right-hand side of defense. Definitely that's not his favorite position. He used to play as a right winger. He's playing in that position. He's been shoehorned into that role. You don't expect him. He's doing well. But at times where you expect him to use his judgment, what a natural defender would do, Valencia has always found wanting. Again, Luke Shaw has, come off pace. He's actually getting back to what he used to do at first. And so, I say he's one player who has really improved under Jose Mourinho in the last couple of games. Yeah. But you still look at that defense, and it's very shaky. And, you can bring in a central defender. You can bring in a couple of defenders. But once Jose Mourinho finds it difficult getting a suitable partner for those defenders, they're definitely going to struggle. Again, you look at the midfield shield. Fred has been in there. McTominay has been in there under Herrera. All these guys will not give you what N'Golo Kante will probably give you in a game. All these guys will not give you what Jose Mourinho used to get in the likes of, Makalele or Michael Essien. He's definitely not going to get all these in this kind of players. Matic to a certain extent, but, he lacks game fitness. And so, with all these things happening, I don't see how Manchester United
But it's not for the coach to do something about it.
Well, absolutely. The coach can do as much, but it boils down to the key actors on the field of play. If the players can actually get onto that pitch and play with confidence and try to play some kind of football that would be able to, they definitely create chances in games. If they can create chances and take them, definitely Manchester United should come good. But if the players, the key actors on the field, fail to deliver, if they fail to take their chances, if they fail to get the job done, if they fail to score the first goals, the insurance goals, or the assurance goals, then definitely Manchester United will be struggling. You look at a player like Alexis Sanchez. This is not the kind of player we used to see at Arsenal. He's come to Manchester United, has been all over the place, and you would not blame Jose Mourinho for his performances on the pitch. His passes are not going through and everything. So you look at this Manchester United team, and I don't see how Jose Mourinho is going to mend this until the players themselves galvanize themselves, until they go onto this international break and come back feeling refreshed and say that, look, let's have a go at it. There's a league title to be won. There are domestic titles to be won. There's Champions League football to play. Let's give it our best shot. And you look at a player like Paul Pogba. I've seen Paul Pogba play at Juventus. I've seen him play for the French national team. Paul Pogba doesn't play half close to what he does for most of these teams or what he did at Juventus. Why? You simply don't get it. And I think that, a lot of these players have to psych themselves up to be able to get a job done for Manchester United. I think that to blame Jose Mourinho for Manchester United's failings is a bit, unfair, because the key actors on the pitch have failed to turn up. That's been the problem of Manchester United.
Okay, so we are wrapping up on Manchester United, but from the outside looking in, it appears chaotic and disconnected. But at Old Trafford, it looks the reality is that it's far calmer. And Jose Mourinho on Friday gave another explosive press conference and said he's the greatest manager of all time. Easy, Eustace.
Well. That's a very pathetic claim from Jose Mourinho. I'm sorry about it. And I know I'm a Man United fan, but it's really pathetic for him.
Why is it?
I mean, he's done nothing close to what the greatest of managers has done. Even in the club, he is. I mean, I know he has 2 Champions League titles, but he can never compare himself.
He's won 3 EPL titles.
Yeah, and he says he's the best of all time. I mean, really.
And he's won more than the 19 other managers.
But you see, Mourinho is a talker.
Is he not the greatest?
No, Mourinho is a talker, and we knew that. Man United knew that before they got him as a manager. He's a talker. He's laced with controversy. He likes to ease the pressure of the team by sometimes drawing pressure on himself and being in that spotlight. So, I mean, sometimes the gimmicks and those comments by Mourinho are not to be taken seriously.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll bring Dominic in briefly. But Raymond, Jose Mourinho. Well, after what football heritage. That was last season, and then this season he started just after your game against Tottenham Hotspur. That was when he was actually demanding respect from the media, that they should respect him because he's won 3 titles, more than the 19 other managers.
He never respected Arsene Wenger.
And now he's saying that he's the greatest.
He was stating a fact when he said that indeed he had won 3 titles.
But they already know.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have never heard Sir Alex Ferguson call himself the greatest manager in the world, despite the fact that this manager has, consistently built teams at Manchester United. Different generation, different, eras of teams. He's been able to do that. And he's never called himself the greatest in the world. But
he added that he's won the league in Spain, he won the league in Italy, and then he's done that several times in England.
Well, I think that, at this point, you can just tell the man is frustrated. He's clinging on to anything he can hold at this moment. Everybody thinks that Jose Mourinho has lost it. Everybody believes that Jose Mourinho is no longer special anymore. And so he needs to keep reminding us of something. He needs to remind everybody of his past. And, clearly he has to go in that direction for people to feel that he's still relevant. But I think that, to be fair, as a matter of fact, the kind of performances he used to put up when he was at those places, when he was winning things, Jose Mourinho is not close to replicating the same kind of performances at Manchester United. And so, it's quite laughable when he speaks like that. But, you can just let him go. At least he wants to stay relevant. He needs to remind us of what he's done before.
But Dominic, don't you think that Mourinho reminding us of his past, the things that he's done, should rather motivate him to do more in this current time, so he will be winning titles for the younger generations of Manchester United fans to see, and then say that yes, he is the greatest manager, than claiming it.
Like my other colleague said, I think Mourinho is not the special one anymore. So then he's just trying to remind us of what he's been doing later and then like some past years ago. So that's why he's doing that. He's just a talker, and sometimes when you come out with this comment, I don't think we're supposed to take it serious, because Mourinho is just a talker, as my other colleague said, and then we don't have to be taking things very serious from
him. So who's now the special one? If it's not Jose Mourinho, sorry, since you're a Chelsea fan.
The special one is Pep.
Pep Guardiola. Okay, so let's take a listen to Jose Mourinho, his press conference on Friday, and then we'll continue the discussion.
2 seasons ago, we had a fantastic season by winning the Europa League. This season and last season, everybody thought Atletico Madrid amazing because they won the Europa League after being knocked out of the Champions League. We won the Europa League because that was our level. We are the last team in England to win an European competition. And last season, I repeat, I won 8 titles. I am the only manager in the world that won Italy, Spain, and England. And by winning 8 titles, not small titles, not small countries, 8 proper titles, my second position last season is one of my greatest achievements in football. I think and I say, you disagree. You have the right to disagree. No problem for me.
So that's Jose Mourinho there speaking. But Jurgen Klopp actually responded to this, and I want us to listen to Klopp's response before we move on to Liverpool and also the other games. Where is it? Okay, he's here. So let's listen to Jurgen Klopp, his response to Jose Mourinho.
What? What did he say? And now I'm interested. What?
He said in response to questions about his performance, he said, "Why aren't you asking people who only finished 3rd or 4th in the Premier League last year? There's one of them there who's never won anything outside his home country, whereas I've won titles here, and here."
He's right. That's right. So If you spoke about me, but probably I'm a few more managers in the league, but you thought it was about me. No problem, but he's right. Yeah, absolutely. He is probably the most successful manager in the Premier League in that moment. Well, I have no problem with that, so to say that, but I don't watch Jose Mourinho press conferences, should I?
They're quite good fun sometimes.
Yeah, good, and I start doing that, so...
Obviously, this is not for real. I mean, Jurgen Klopp is being sarcastic these days.
Yeah, definitely. He says he doesn't watch Jose Mourinho's presses before and after games.
No, the part that interests me is what he was talking about Jose Mourinho being right, that maybe he's the most successful manager in history.
Oh, yes, of course he's being sarcastic. And I know Klopp is being sarcastic. No, like we said, Mourinho is a talker sometimes. But at this moment, what Man United fans need from Jose Mourinho is for him to walk the talk. We need him to back it up with actions. Get the Premier League, get us to the final of the Champions League, and then you can call yourself and put yourself in a certain bracket. As it stands now, Sevilla and other. I mean, come on now, Mourinho should get real.
All right, so let's move on there for Manchester United and then look at what happened yesterday in the English Premier League. So, okay, we've gone through the 3 matches. We'll touch a bit on the Arsenal game. But first, we have to talk about the early kickoff yesterday, the game involving Liverpool and Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. So Liverpool were actually leading by 2-0. Sadio Mane with the first goal, which was scored in the 10th minute, and then Roberto Firmino got in the second for Liverpool in the 45th minute, just before halftime. And in the second half, Alisson Becker, a howler. How should I put it? A mistake that shouldn't have come from a world-class goalkeeper like Alisson. Then Gazelle capitalized on that and slotted the ball in for for Leicester City to at least score a goal, but they lost that game by 2-1. This is what happened in the game.
Robertson has got through the challenge of Ricardo. It's come to Mane, and Liverpool are in front. Sadio Mane, his 4th goal of the season, and Liverpool, who certainly should have been in front inside 5 minutes, are in front inside 10. In comes the second Liverpool corner, and Firmino scores his first goal of the season in the last minute of the first half. Doubles Liverpool's lead. A goal as straightforward as they come. Alisson, and he's lost it to Iheanacho. Iheanacho, they must score surely. They have. Rashid Ghazal scores for Leicester. What a horrible moment for Alisson. What a way to concede your first goal of the season. And he took a risk, and Leicester are back in the game.
Well, good game for Liverpool. Leicester City played very, very well. And after that howler, Leicester were trying to come back into the game, but they were able to, hold on and then won the game by 2-1. But Alisson Becker, what was he thinking of after what he did at home and then against Brighton? He thought that it was just going to be very simple for him. And what a way to concede his first goal in the league, Raymond.
Well, I think that the goalkeeper was bought for, the last 3 games here. Yeah, lack of action, because you look at this Liverpool team, they have kept clean sheets in their last 3 games. And so, the goalkeeper was pretty, very, very much bored in the post. But I still think...
No, he's not being bored at all, because in the game against Crystal Palace...
Yeah, he made a couple of saves, but...
And also Brighton as well.
You can just tell, every goalkeeper is error-prone. And, that was just one of the moments for him. It was just a bad day in the office for him. But that notwithstanding, I still think that he's a fantastic goalkeeper, top-notch goalkeeper, world-class goalkeeper. And, these things happen to every goalkeeper. And so I think that, let's pardon him. This is his first error in the English Premier League. When David De Gea came, we all saw him. He was all over the place. And so I still think that Alisson Becker will come good for Liverpool. But on the performance itself, I think that Liverpool have stepped up they've stepped on the pedal, right from the get-go. Liverpool have made their intentions clear. They've brought in lots of quality players. They want to win the English Premier League title. Whichever way they are going to play to get the results, will make sure that the job is done. And against Leicester City, let's say, missed the services of Vardy. Definitely, Vardy not being in that team affected them. But that notwithstanding, you see this Liverpool team very formidable. And Sadio Mane has taken the pressure off Mohamed Salah and Firmino, because a lot was expected from Salah this season. But you can see that a lot of defenders are focusing their attention on Mohamed Salah, allowing Sadio Mane to run into the channels, run into their spaces and score the goals. And so I think that 4 out of 4 for Sadio Mane is really impressive. I think that Mohamed Salah still being in the team is a threat to any team. Firmino also. This Liverpool team is just solid, and I think that they got the job done easily against Leicester City.
Use this 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago, Liverpool easily would have bottled this. But are they showing signs of, champions?
Benedict, the consistency of the performances is key to winning the Premier League, as they've learnt painfully over the last 2 seasons. And I think this time, like Raymond said, they've made a statement of intent in the first few games. But for me, they are still playing in third gear. I think the pace, the momentum is not up to their maximum yet. And there's a lot more they can show. And they've reinforced every position on the field. Alisson Becker is a fantastic goalkeeper. I think yesterday was just a bit one of those.
Well, he's actually been good for Liverpool.
One of those complacent acts, and I think these are some of the pressures that come with a ball-playing goalkeeper. I mean, sometimes they get carried away because they are good with the ball at their feet, but I'm sure he can be forgiven for that. Virgil van Dijk has solidified the back line. He's made all the defenders in Liverpool look like superstars because of the coordination, the voice commands, and he knows where to fill in, where to just kick it out. He doesn't always want to play pretty. He's solid, he's physical. I mean, and that has given room for the midfielders. I mean, since he came back, Liverpool has had probably the best defense in the English Premier League, and they've had the freedom to go forward. They've played their usual game without conceding, and that is what championship teams are made of. So, yes, Liverpool all round. I think they've done very well with Shaqiri and people, the likes on the bench. They have a lot more to offer, and this time around, I think they really mean to challenge for the championship. They might just get it.
Okay, let's take a listen to the man Jurgen Klopp as well as Sadio Mane. But on the Jurgen Klopp's reaction to the Jose Mourinho press conference when he was asked during his presser before the Leicester City game, Klopp actually didn't say history. He was talking about at the moment. So Francis Doku is listening to the program and he's just corrected me. Thanks so much, Francis. But so let's listen to Jurgen Klopp and Sadio Mane after yesterday's win over Leicester City.
I said it last week, don't play the goalkeeper, give the ball constantly to the goalkeeper if you have no idea. So there are other solutions. But we know it's a fantastic goalkeeper, we made fantastic saves again, helped us a lot, and in this situation, of course, he did not what he should have done, but we have now 12 points after 4 games. If somebody would have told me that 4 weeks ago, I would have said, okay.
When you not do your best and you win the game, I think it's the best things that can happen in football. So yeah, I think it's a great moment for us. So we're gonna try to take it game by game and try to win everything. Why not until the end of the season?
All right, so Jurgen Klopp spoke about Alisson Becker's howler, which gifted Leicester City the goal yesterday, but eventually they won. And also you heard from Sadio Mane, who scored 4 goals in 4 games, and Mohamed Salah has scored 2 in 4 games. Well, so the Liverpool game yesterday was the early kickoff, and then we had 2 p.m. Games. So Brighton played against Fulham. Fulham were actually leading, and Brighton equalized. So that game ended 2-2. And Chelsea, sorry ball, going very well for the side as they won their game against Bournemouth by 2-0.
Pedro on the edge of the area. Pedro with a shot. Pedro finds the back of the net. They've had to be patient, but the goal that has been coming finally arrives with 18 minutes to go. Pedro, the substitute, finds and breaks the deadlock. Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0. Maurizio Sarri in that baggy blue jumper has a baseball cap as he watches his side come into the penalty area. Hazard fires it in low, and Hazard rifles the ball past Begovic to seal the 3 points for Chelsea. 4 wins out of a 4. It's a fantastic start for Maurizio Sarri, and they match Liverpool stride for stride at the top of the table. Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 0.
All right, so Chelsea won their game yesterday against Bournemouth by 2-0 at Stamford Bridge, and Eden Hazard with the last goal for the side. What a game it was. And we've seen this with the Chelsea team. Their game against Newcastle came in very, very difficult. And yesterday as well, I watched that game. The first half of the game was very tough, even in the second half, until that breaker came from Pedro, and then Eden Hazard also added the winning goal. It's fair to start with the Chelsea man here in the studio. That's Dominic Abua. You must be very delighted, especially seeing the Sarri football work.
Sure. Now it looks like Chelsea is is a team that you really enjoy watching, entertaining, and pressing football, because Sarri ball is one type of football that you have to possess ball and then press on your opponents. Looking away from the Newcastle team up to the yesterday match. You could see Chelsea really press their team, but then one thing that I'm contemplating about is how to create chances for the attackers to really score goals. You could see Jorginho is just interested in passing balls to the players and then but then not really creating chances like Cesc Fabregas can really create chances for the attackers. But the one thing I want to do is Pedro is really doing well with the new Sarri ball, because you could see he scored 3 goals in 4 matches. That's unlike his performance over 23 matches last season. He scored just 2 goals, which is really kind of impressive from Sarri football. Hazard too is really performing very well with the 2 goals and then 2 assists in this current season, because of the way of Conte's style of football last season. He wasn't able to perform getting to the end of the season, but then he was very fantastic last season though. But then we all knew how Hazard and then Willian were not kind of okay with Conte's style of football last season. But then in this season, you could see after 4 games he's performed very, very well, and so we really expect him much. But then from yesterday's game, you could see we really need to be creating chances. But then one thing about Chelsea defense is from David Luiz, that is the weak point in Chelsea defense at the moment. Luiz have been one of the best players over the seasons, but in this current season he's not performing. We kind of seen some kind of mistake from him.
And yesterday he caused the blunder that Wilson nearly capitalized on.
Exactly. And then one thing about Alonso too is that Alonso has been very fantastic in this season, but then when he goes up to attack with the other attackers, he can't track back to defend. And so if you meet teams like Manchester United, Liverpool, and then Manchester City, they can use that and vitalize their chances using Alonso's side to score many goals. So I think during their training sessions that Sarri is bringing in to change, and then I think to strengthen their defense, he would just need to perform several training.
Well, it's good you're here.
Sure.
What do you think Chelsea should do to Morata?
I think the best thing is to let him
stay on the bench.
Sure, exactly.
And play Pedro.
Pedro can be best at the number 9 position. I think we have Olivier Giroud. We saw how Olivier Giroud performed when he came from bench yesterday. He really helped the attack, and then he even gave the assist to Pedro to score the first goal. So we all know Morata is not living up to expectations. So I think we have to bench Morata and then make Olivier Giroud play. I wasn't even interested and happy when we heard Abraham is gone on loan to Aston Villa, and then that's why he also left to Valencia. I think these players are all players that can help Chelsea other than Morata. He's so soft on the ball, and then off the ball and then on the ball, or Morata is very soft. You could see an example from Alexandra Mitrovic and then Salomon Rondon, which are even playing small teams in the EPL, are even performing better than Morata that has got a chance with the likes of Hazard, Pedro, and then Kante, Jorginho behind him. He's still not living up to expectations. So I think Morata needs to sit on the bench and then allow the other strikers to play.
Raymond, 4 wins out of 4 games. Sarri football working?
Fantastic start for Mauricio Sarri. I think that you look at, the statistics, the numbers after the games, and you look at the possession. Against Huddersfield, 63% possession. Against Arsenal, 62%. Against Newcastle, 81%. Against Bournemouth yesterday, 73%. Remarkable stuff from Chelsea. And this is not what Chelsea is used to. Chelsea are used to playing pragmatic football, very, very difficult to break down. And they don't really possess the ball as they are doing now. And that tells you that Mauricio Sarri is beginning to have his imprint on this particular Chelsea team. And there's this saying that the best way to defend is to possess the ball. And that's exactly what Chelsea are doing. They are trying to possess the ball as much as they can, and they try to build up patiently. They keep knocking on the doors of opponents until they find that goal. And I think that players like Pedro, are flourishing in this system because they've played in Spain for a very long time. They understand the Spanish system. They understand what it takes to play that passing football, that passing range of football. Make the pitch wide, spread the play. Try to pass your opponents to submission. He understands it very well, and that's why he's flourishing in this system. I think that, to be fair to Eden Hazard has been given somewhat a free role in that team. He's been, cutting to the left, to the right, playing through the middle. He's been given a free role in this particular team. And the midfield, the dynamic midfield of this team. You talk about Kante, you talk about Kovacic, and then you talk about Jorginho. These are players who seem to understand each other very well. With Kante doing the mopping up role and sometimes playing as a box-to-box midfielder. With Jorginho, spreading the passes, cross-field passes, short passes, through balls. You see a lot of dynamism in that midfield of this Chelsea team, unlike what we used to see at first, where you see the likes of Bakayoko only trying to hack down players in the middle of the park. You see a lot of enterprise from this Chelsea team, and that's really remarkable. And you can just tell that Antonio Conte really missed out, on getting the best out of the boys that he had last season. Because you can see that Mauricio Sarri hasn't changed too much with this Chelsea team, but he has just found a new direction for these players. These players are playing like, players who are reborn, re-energized. And I think that Mauricio Sarri is really on the right track. I think that for Morata, the earlier Chelsea managers realize that the best way to get Morata to function is to play him off a main striker, better, because that is how that is the only way you can get him to perform. If you have someone like Olivier Giroud playing ahead of Morata, that's how you can get the best out of him, because we've seen him play at Juventus where he's played behind the likes of Carlos Tevez, he's played with the likes of Dybala, with the likes of Mandzukic and the likes. That's how he plays. He flourishes when he plays in as a supporting striker, but as the main man, playing that Drogba role or that Diego Costa role for Chelsea, it's going to be very impossible for Morata to play. And so the earlier coaches find out that is the best way they can use Morata, the better. Otherwise, I think that we'll be expecting him to score goals week in, week out, and he may not be able to get the goals. As part of Mauricio Sarri's free-flowing football or his total football philosophy, if you have a player like Morata playing slightly ahead of the midfield and in that hole, that terraquatista role, where he can affect the play, where he can, string passes left to right, he can be part of the build-up play. You can get the best out of Morata. But in this current state, trying to play him as the main man, the main number 9, is going to be difficult for Morata to score goals.
And in terms of Mauricio Sarri, I mean, Chelsea and everything that they are doing, is it early days yet, or you think that they can keep this momentum and get in more wins and probably maybe challenge for the title this season?
Well, I believe strongly it's early days yet, and the Premiership is a marathon, as we all know, we've come to know.
But it's always important to start well.
Yes, to start well, but Raymond has said a lot of fantastic positive attributes about Chelsea. I don't want to further emphasize on that, but I want to focus on the frailties or lapses that come with the team. Yeah, Chelsea's playing all this fantastic football, but I believe that there are defensive frailties that can be exploited massively. I saw them play against Arsenal, and believe you me, Arsenal could have been 5-2 up in the first half. David Luiz is a very, very weak link in that defensive lineup. Rudiger hasn't been very promising, apart from Alonso, who has been spectacular going forward. And Azpilicueta has always been solid. So I think in the central defensive area, there's a big problem. They haven't played any worthy opposition yet, so it's not showing. But the communication between David Luiz and Rudiger, you have David Luiz switching off a lot of the time during games. He loses concentration and he allows the runner to get in behind him. His movement is a bit suspect. He contributes tremendously, don't get me wrong. He contributes tremendously going forward. But his defensive game is quite weak. And with the kind of midfield trio that Chelsea is playing, the screening for the centre-backs is not that solid. Jorginho is... Kante is even required to go box to box. And now, actually, people are starting to question N'Golo Kante's role in the team, because when he gets forward into the position,
he's playing more of an offensive role this year.
The responsibility for him to get forward with the system they are playing is quite frequent. And when he gets there, I saw him score a goal, but I think it was a lucky shot, because
that was their first game against us.
He hits the ball into the ground, and he's actually being asked to score goals now, of which people are seeing that he's a bit suspect in that regard. So on the balance of play, I think Chelsea is doing well. Everybody's saying they are doing good because they are possessing the ball. Supposing they meet a team like Man City, who is better at handling the ball than them, and they are now required to defend in a game. They have to push defensive tactics. I wonder what the Sarri ball is going to look like in a situation like that, because their goalkeeper is even a bit suspect to me for somebody who cost 71 million. Some of the goals he's conceded, the shielding has been shambolic, and some of the goals he's conceded has been absolutely shameful.
Manchester United fan.
Take your time. No,
just come in. 4 games and
Benedict, 4 games. We've said there are positive sides. I would have emphasized on the positive sides as well if Raymond hasn't done that. But I'm looking at the defensive frailties in the team. The goalkeeper is not there yet. Look at the goal, the shot, Arsenal, the long range one. You have to put in a firm hand. This is England.
I think even their game against Newcastle United, the goal he conceded was a goal.
Yes. He can do way better than what he's doing now. And with Morata, like Raymond rightly said, he doesn't have the physical presence. He's not a Didier Drogba. He cannot be with the centre back. He cannot lie on the man. He cannot hold that play. They need to play him as a supporting striker. That's that's the best risk.
Okay, so let's hear from a very delighted Mauricio Sarri after yesterday's win over Bournemouth.
They are very organized. They defended very well, but usually in this kind of match, you need to be patient because usually you can win in the last 20-25 minutes. At the moment, we are doing very well, but I think we can improve.
Another formation, 5-4-1, trying to defend. It's difficult, but once again, we've been patient. We obviously have some great quality midfielders, attackers, and they win the game today.
So first was Chelsea manager Mauricio Sarri, and then Alonso speaking after their win yesterday over Bournemouth. 2-0, they won their game. So far, so good for Chelsea. 4 out of 4 wins. Lots of your message on our WhatsApp console. Let me try and read some. Now, this one says, Benedict Mourinho said he's one of the best managers in the world, and in fact, he's been the best in the Premiership presently, and that's a fact too. Yeah, your guests are just not being realistic. Mourinho just stated fact. Okay, thanks so much for that message. Next time, please do sign and let me know your name as well as where you are bringing that message from. Now, this one says, good evening. Liverpool is on top form and we are winning this league, but Naby Keita should start ahead of Henderson. And for Alisson, he will learn from this mistake and step up for his wonderful performances. Now, Salah should also up his game. 12 points out of 4 games. That's impressive. This one is coming from Billy Graham from the University of Cape Coast. Okay, now this one says, okay, all right. Let's see more here. All right, so you're still on Superstation Joy 99.7 FM. You can also send yours to our WhatsApp number 0244 340 437 0244 340 437. Now, Frank Kakraba from Hohoi says, good spirit from Watford, EPL, a league to watch and be really excited about football. EPL, no size. Kudos to Sarri and Chelsea for winning 4 out of 4. Okay, so you're a Chelsea fan. You can also send yours 0244 340 437. So away from the Chelsea game yesterday. Now, Manchester City also were at home to Newcastle United after their game last week. They drew 1-1 with Wolves. Well, they needed to stage a comeback or probably maybe bounce back to winning ways, and that's exactly what they did yesterday against Newcastle United. But it didn't come easy as they had to labour for that win. They won that game by 2-1.
Turning into the box, great finish, 1-0 Manchester City. Mistake by the returning Jamel Lascelles. The worst possible start for Rafa Benitez, and a brilliant finish by Sterling. Rondon now for Newcastle. Led up to him by Kennedy. Caesar under the far post. It's 1-1. Would you believe it? Out of nothing. Diombre ended up from the back. Manchester City switched off. They got sloppy, and they've been made to pay for it. Oh, a gap opened up in front of him. Here's Aguero. Couldn't get the shot away. Walker might from there, from range. Kyle Walker. Oh, what a hit! Kyle Walker, what a hit! What a way to get your first goal for the club. To put Manchester City ahead again. It's his first goal since November 2015 when he scored for Spurs against West Ham.
So Kyle Walker scored his first goal for Manchester City yesterday as they won that game by 2-1. His manager Pep Guardiola spoke, and then we'll hear from Kyle Walker as well.
Were you pleased with the patience of your players today?
Especially in second half, yeah. Especially in second half. We control them and we create. From the beginning we saw more fluidly our passes, our positions where we have to be, and that's why I'm satisfied. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I'm just thankful to get the 3 points. That's the most important thing, and luckily I got on the score sheet.
What a way to get his first goal, an amazing goal he scored yesterday as they won that game by 2-1. It wasn't an easy game for Manchester City. So other matches that I played yesterday, Everton Huddersfield ended 1-1. Also Brighton and Hove Albion, the game against Fulham ended 2-2. And then, as we just heard from the Manchester City boss, Pep Guardiola and Kyle Walker, who scored the second goal as they defeated Newcastle United by 2-1. The game I want us to talk about briefly, West Ham United, Wolverhampton Wanderers. West Ham United still without a point after 4 matches, and they spent over $100 million bringing in players. What is happening to Manuel Pellegrini?
Well, I think that it's one thing bringing in top-notch players, and it's another thing getting them to play as a team. It's very difficult trying to put the pieces together and hitting the ground running right from the get-go. You look at this West Ham team, and Manuel Pellegrini definitely is one manager who has a lot of experience, from his time in the Premiership, from his time in Spain. He's one of the managers that you can say tactically is very disciplined. His style of football is very pleasing to the eye. He likes to play offensive football, free-flowing football. That's how he plays his football. But you look at the problem of this West Ham team, and you pin it down to their defense, because he's brought in Balbuena from Corinthians, inexperienced player. He's brought in Issa Diop from Toulouse, very inexperienced player. These are two players who are playing the centre-back position. And these are players who are supposed to man the defense for you. These are two players who don't understand the English game. The intensity of the English game seems to be a problem for them. He started the season with Balbuena and Ogbonna, but that partnership certainly could not work. He has Zabaleta on the bench. He decided to drop Zabaleta and bring in Fredericks. And really, you can see that there's a problem in defense. So Fredericks, Cresswell, Balbuena and Issa Diop are not the defenders who can give you that assurance in defense. That has been one of their problems. Again, it seems he went in for a very watered down Felipe Anderson, because the kind of Felipe Anderson we saw at Lazio is not the same player we are seeing at West Ham this season. He's clearly off pace. He seems to be struggling to adapt to the English game, and really we haven't seen the best of him. Again, you look at a player like Yarmolenko, who's been coming in, who is a bit part player in the team so far. I still think that this West Ham team needs something more. And you look at Arnautovic and the likes. Arnautovic is not that proven striker who give you 2-3 goals in a game. He's one player who score a goal every 3 games or something. And so West Ham have lots of problems, and I think this international break comes in very well for them. The coach must now go back to the drawing board. And you look at the time some of these players came in, the likes of Carlos Sanchez. These are players who came in on deadline day. And, crucially, he cannot get this team to blend. He can't get this team to gel and play with that telepathic understanding. The team chemistry is absolutely missing. And that's why this West Ham team is suffering. And the way things are going, it looks very much like Manuel Pellegrini may just be heading to the sack. And I wouldn't blame him, but the kind of business he did and getting the best out of players has been a problem.
Well, yesterday after the game, when he was asked about their performance so far in the league, the person that interviewed him said that, well, it's been bad for your side since the start of the season. And he said, no, it's not been bad. It's been very, very bad for us. You still stand by your prediction prior to the season that you'll be the first manager to be sacked, Eustace?
Yeah, because I told you earlier that he was just getting a collection of players. He didn't have with the names coming up. I didn't see the chemistry and the system he wanted to play. He might have something in mind, but the kind of names that he was rolling in. I mean, Carlos Sanchez. I looked at the error yesterday. I mean, he doesn't look like somebody who was match fit. He doesn't look like he was up to the tempo. You don't lose the ball like that in the 90th minute when you've tried and tried. And in previous games, they've scored first and always given up all 3 points. And
against Arsenal, same.
That should tell you that fundamentally there's something wrong with the team chemistry, the team mentality, the defensive setup. Because for most teams in the English Premier League, as I know, to come from behind and beat them, I mean, you can't do it like consistently. It's a very sad situation, but I think Manuel Pellegrini has one more chance if he fails to win his next match, and he has a very tough run of fixtures coming up, but if he fails to win the next one in particular, that's it. That's it for him.
Well, at least there's an international break, so it's not going to happen this coming weekend. Maybe in 2 weeks we'll see what will happen with Manuel Pellegrini and West Ham United. You can now call. The number to call is 0302 216 541 0302 216 541. Another message coming from Billy Graham from University of Cape Coast. He says Chelsea is just accompanying Liverpool, and at the end the boys will be separated from the men. Liverpool will never walk alone. So that's a Liverpool fan there. You can also send yours. This one says this famous Adolf former Shyman. My concern is Chelsea not shooting and crossing of late, cause Morata's last season best goals came from heading. Oh, okay, I get you. So he's saying that because the crosses are not coming in, that's why Morata is unable to score for the side. Okay, well, point well noted. Thanks so much for your message. You can call 0302 216 541 0302 216 541. So let me quickly update you on the other leagues as well. Now, the Italian Serie A matches that have been played. so far, well, yesterday was Bologna Inter Milan, and Inter won that game by 3-0 with Kuja Sama playing a part in that game. And still, Cristiano Ronaldo is still without a goal after playing 3 games for Juventus. The game against Parma ended 2-1 in favour of Juventus, but Ronaldo wasn't on the scorer sheet. And then Milan Roma played on Friday, with Milan winning that game by 2-1. Today, the first game almost done, 90th minute in that game. Fiorentina are taking on Udinese, and Fiorentina are leading by a goal to nil. Later tonight, we'll have Chievo Empoli, Atalanta Cagliari, and then Torino will take on Spa 2013, as well as Lazio Frosinone, and then Sampdoria will come up against Napoli, with Sassuolo taking on Genoa. So let's go over to the phone line and let me pick my first caller. Hi, good evening. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, when this is Ajman Joseph, I'm calling from Committee 9.
Okay, Ajman, let's hear you, sir.
Yeah, has it got Fred Akuto that you have at the studio?
No, please.
But there's a certain guy who is giving serious analysis over there.
Okay, I have Raymond Yamado here. I have Eustace Akwe and also Dominic Abua.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm an Arsenal fan, and my issue is Arsenal able to clinch the 4th position? Because as it has been happening these days, scoring the big clubs is becoming a problem. You see, now after Chelsea and Man City, they are able to score these small clubs, which means the situation is the same. Also, the Manchester issue, I think one of your panelists is talking about ACN and other black guys Mono was using at Chelsea. I can see this issue is about yes master issue, because those blacks, including ACN and Drogba, they were listening to the man. When Moreno give them instruction, they take it. But the last of Kogba and those people, they see themselves to be too much staff, so they play to their tune.
All right, okay. Thank you very much for your call. You can also call 0302 216 541. So 0302 216 541. Now, the Spanish La Liga, currently Barcelona are taking on Huesca and Barca after Huesca taking the lead. Now, Barca are leading by 6-2 with Lionel Messi all on the score sheet. So it's Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Dembele, Rakitic, as well as Messi again. So it's 6-2 as we speak now. We've done 8 minutes in that game, but yesterday Getafe, Real Valladolid ended goalless. Eibar 2, Real Sociedad 1. Villarreal also in their game against Girona. Girona won by a goal to nil. Celta de Vigo beat Atletico Madrid with Rayo Vallecano. Their game against Bilbao postponed, and Real Madrid defeated Leganés by 4-1. Surprisingly, since Cristiano Ronaldo left, Charlie, Benzema and Bill, the guys are scoring goals. Let me pick my last caller. Hello, good evening. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, Benedict, this is Kweku from New Ningo.
Kweku, please, can you please keep it short for me?
Yeah, kudos to Koto. Better back next time to House of Folk. And then the EPL is getting very interesting. I'm happy, Moreno. I'm happy you won today, because the supporters would have called for his head. Thank you very much, Benedict.
Okay, thank you very much for your call, Kweku. So, Raymond, please tell us briefly about the Italian GP and then wrap up.
Well, the Italian GP ended this afternoon, and Lewis Hamilton defended the title he won in 2017. And for the 5th time in Monza, Lewis Hamilton is the winner, and he's opened a 30-point lead ahead of Sebastian Vettel on the Drivers' Championship. That tells you that it's really getting like a one-horse race. Lewis Hamilton seems to be dominating Formula 1 this season, and it doesn't look like Sebastian Vettel may be coming into this. Kimi Raikkonen is in third, Valtteri Bottas is in fourth, and I think that it's almost a done deal for Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton.
Thank you very much. You want to say something, is this?
No, I'm just going to add up to the fact that Lewis Hamilton started from third on the pole.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much, guys, for your time today. Raymond Yamado, Eustace Akwe, as well as Dominic Abua, and thanks to Moses Yabua and Joseph Agbobli for the production work. We are back same time next week, but next week there is no EPL club. Next week is the international break, so we'll focus on the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. Remember, the Black Stars will be in action next week, Saturday. Their game is against Kenya, which will be in Nairobi. Tomorrow, join us on the Joy Sports Center on the Super Morning Show with Georgia the Junior. Bring you reactions, everything that happened this weekend, from the English Premier League to the Serie A and the Spanish La Liga, and here on the locals in Kumasi and Tekotoko. Back back-to-back wins for them. They defeated Accra Hearts of Oak this afternoon at the Babara Stadium by 2-0. So last week was 2-0, this week 2-0. Also, we'll bring you reactions from what happened yesterday at the Joy Sports Invitational Tournament. It was amazing. Thanks to all those that made it a point to join us yesterday at the Lizzie Sports Complex. I'll be on TV in the morning, 7 a.m. on the Joy News channel. That's the AM show. I'll bring you highlights of everything that happened over the weekend. My name is Benedict Tosu. Thanks so much for listening. We are back same time next week. Another exciting edition of the program.